we are once again reporting live from the area known as the Bunker Underground. That's right, we are about maybe 2.5, Mako? Maybe 2.5 miles underground? What do you think? I'm not a good judge of distance.
There's a pretty long elevator ride down here.
Yeah, it was. It was. The first floor was McVenum's, and that's the first, like, 1.5 miles, and then she shoved us another mile below. So it's somewhere around 2.5 miles underground that we are. But, yeah. At some point, I think we're gonna get flooded out. I'm just taking a wild guess there, Mako. I think we might get flooded out.
High probability of that.
Just awful. We need to find some. We just moved in here, and I just feel like this is not going to work out. But we'll see. But in the meantime, we are here with the Bunker Underground once again for another State of Survival live stream. And for those of you not familiar, I am Finity with Reality Skewed Gamers, and that other voice you hear is that of Mako.
Hello.
And I am in state 359, and Mako is in
125.
Yes, 125. We will hopefully be joined by Delete in a little bit. Again, real life stuff comes first, and he had some family things, so he said he would be on, but just a little bit late. So in the meantime, Mako and I are gonna hold down the fort here, because no good ever comes of just me by myself. So Mako's gonna keep me in check. That's what's gonna happen. Mako's gonna keep me in check, and yeah, that should help with everything here. Yeah, that's all I can say. Mako, your job is very simple. Your job is to keep me in check so I don't go crazy, because there's a chance that I go and become crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's true. So, let me see if I can get Mako on the screen here. I know everything changes a little bit as we get people, so I think it's this one. There we go. We can kind of get Mako here. Yeah, not that one. And now Mako. Okay, there's Mako again. We're gonna try. Okay, there is Mako on the side here. I'm trying to see how to configure you in that spot, because everything is changing with. Oh, I know what to do. Hold on, let me do this, and then this. Okay, I think this is getting better. And then there, and that, and that. Oh. There we go. Okay, now I think you are. Okay, you're about as configured as I can get you right now. There is Mako. All right, so we have a little bit to talk about. There's not a whole lot that's happened in the last, like, week. I mean, we did get a developer feedback, so we'll go over the developer feedback. I think that's kind of the main thing with regards to MIGO and YITH. So before we jump into that, anything you noticed worthy of discussion at this time, Mako? I didn't see too much this past week. But to be fair, I've been kind of busy this past week, so.
Not too much. I know they nerfed a couple things for YITH events.
Yeah.
Digging is now, they give you 10 keys for the entire day now instead of recurring now.
Yep.
The Intel missions, they dropped it from 24 to you only need 12 to get full rewards for the event.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah, so I can tell you, the Intels were getting nuts for me. Because they freaking log on, and there's like... So, there's a few things about the Intel that were bothering me. But before we go into that, because I have some issues with the Intels in general now, I'm going to read the developer post, because both of these are kind of addressed in the developer post that was posted on... Oh, wait. I love the developers. Do you know that the developers posted a feedback 30 minutes ago?
Really?
Yep. Developers, I love you. I'm just going to... Okay, so we have a lot more to go over. So I'm going to read the one that we were just discussing first before I go into that one. So we do have a lot to talk about. Today should be pretty fun then. But as we get started again, really quick, guys, thank you again. Make sure you put something in chat if you would like a shout out. I see Millsy is here. How are you doing, Millsy? Glad to have you here. So we just got breaking news like 30 minutes ago. The devs are awesome. Or no, sorry, not 30 minutes ago, hour 30 minutes ago. Because we're not on at 8, we're on at 9. So hour 30 minutes ago, we got the post. And I have not had a chance to look at this. So you are going to get the first reaction from myself. And based on Mako's reaction, he hasn't seen this either. So you are going to get live reactions from the Bunker Underground to the developer feedback. So, and Millsy says, I am good. How are you both? I am doing well. Yeah.
Can't complain.
Eric B is saying, don't upgrade riders first to T11, Finn. They don't work like you thought last week. I'm sure they're always changing. I wouldn't do riders first anyways. Hunters would be the first one, right? Then it would be riders. I just didn't see the purpose for infantry. That was my only thing. I just didn't see the purpose for infantry based on that ability. But yes, I agree. Hunters first, then riders for me. Then I wouldn't even bother with infantry. But I have to review some of the testing. I did get the link. I just haven't had a time to look at it because Millsy is asking, how are you both? I am doing well, especially since earlier this week, Karma and I put down a deposit for our new house that's being built, which will be done in about 6 months. But that is now official. We've been kind of waiting a few months in order to have it released so we could actually sign and like claim the lot and the house and everything, but that is done. So now it is a 6-month wait for the house to be done. So there you go. So I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
It is a lot of life changes here for me in this year.
Happening quickly.
It is. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. We're going to have the wedding in December, and then hopefully by February we'll be moving into the new house. So, and our leases are up close to the end of this year, so we might just have to go month to month for just a little while before we get the house and everything. So, everything is working. So I am doing well. So all I can say with that, Mako top that.
Yeah. You guys, I had little Mako for about 10 minutes. He's just talking up a storm, but he had to go to bed, so you guys missed him by just a little bit.
Aw, I do want to see.
I'll get him on. I'll get him on for a stream again.
Okay. Yes, Little Mako is adorable. If you have not seen him, so we definitely need to get Little Mako back on. But yeah, thank you, Eric B, and thank you, Millsy. Yeah, it is big news for me, and I love sharing with you guys. So thank you for all of that. And yeah, so with that, we'll go ahead and start talking about the developer feedback that we were talking about at the start of this, which was actually done towards the end of last week after the last Bunker Underground. And that one said, Dear survivors, thank you for your passion for MIGO and YITH. After launching the state event, we realized that it was a bit too stressful for players, which was not in line with our expectations. We've made some urgent adjustments. Without cutting any rewards, we're shutting down the Monday supply hunting event and reducing the maximum amount of intel required for daily state event tasks to 12. We believe these adjustments will work and more are on the way. We are looking at options for optimizing the state event. In the meantime, we have several gameplay tweaks in store for the future with brand new large-scale features and events already in development. We look forward to bringing you a better game experience with the state event in the future. So, Mako kind of touched on some of these, right? Which is that they have made it, rather than kind of the refreshing timer cycle for the digs, there's a daily amount, so you try to get those in. I haven't had a chance to do the digs with this new setup, Mako. So I'll ask you, has this resolved at all the issue of people fighting over the dig sites?
No, it has not.
Okay.
So now it's just a race to who can get those blues and purples with your 10 digs. So I mean, you still have we've got 100 people in our alliance. There's at least 5 active alliances, so 500 people all still trying to go for it. So you get that first sign on right after reset. I think it's at like 200 or something. Is the first one, and everybody's rushing to get them. So
yeah, it is unfortunate. I mean, I think this is a good step. I don't want to negate the step that they did here, but ultimately, I think the biggest problem is just that: is that people are fighting over these things. If they really made the dig similar to the way Intel is, which is you see it, other players don't, that simplifies a lot of different things for all players. So that would again still be the suggestion as to how to handle and make this less stressful rather than this war. Eric B is saying large scale features equals more useless buildings to take up space in the settlement. I'm so sad. I have to start. If they start adding too many more, I'm gonna have to start removing trees. It is very sad. They need to expand our settlement. That's all I can say. The number of buildings and everything they're adding, plus the fact that you need some of those like trees and stuff in order to keep your prosperity going. Like at some point, you should increase the settlement so somebody can place every single thing that you have available. You have a lot of trees, decorations. Now you're creating these large size buildings. Hi, Aerith. How are you? They definitely need to modify how they're looking at the settlements, and I think we're due for a settlement expansion. Like since I've started, which is just about a year ago now, they have added quite a few buildings and no additional space. Like none. I had some space, but nothing since. Go ahead.
And when you guys are done with MIGO, the MIGO event building doesn't go away either. So it just takes up more space. Well, you have to build another building for the YITH event. Yeah.
And MIGO is big. MIGO takes up a lot of space. Like it didn't even give me the option to put it. I had to move around my gas tanks and stuff in order to open up. So
yeah, I think MIGO and the YITH building are both the same size as like a training building.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling at some point I'm just gonna end up like reorganizing my base, because I'm just gonna have to. Like I was really happy with the way my base was, but I think I'm gonna have to reorganize it now because this is not good. That's all I can say. It's just not good. Yeah. And I'm glad you're doing well, Eric. Happy Thursday to you as well. Eric B saying they could rescale it. That is a possibility. I just think they need to increase the land size. I'm gonna like we typically referenced other games we play that are similar in nature, and I know you guys have referenced some of the other like base builder kind of war games. What they've done in something like Clash of Clans is they have periodically increased the size of the base just automatically and increase different areas of it so that you can just keep on building. And that game has been around for a long time. So that's what I think they should do, just because I've seen that already work. Nobody complains about having more space in their base. Like, nobody. I haven't seen anybody complain, oh no, my base is too big. No, it doesn't happen. So just make sure that it's symmetrically done. Like you add like whatever, like 2 pixels all the way around the edges so that you can get 2 more squares of things or whatever it is. Just make it so that it is consistent all the way around and not just on like one side of the base. But I think that should be soon that they have to do that. But yeah, and then the state intel. Okay, this is my gripe now, Mako. Okay, and I don't know if I'm crazy, which I probably am, right? But this is my gripe with the intels. The introduction of the new state intels have made it so that the intels that you do, where you can get troops, is no longer that little circular send your troops, gather the troops, and bring them back. They actually are infected. It is the most confusing thing that they have changed it now so that not all of the like troop gathering intels are just the ones where you send that van and bring it back. They're now like infected. I'm gonna check my game right now to see if I have those intels. I can show you, because it is frustrating for me when like things don't match up anymore. Because now some of the other ones that don't give you the troops as the reward, but they just give you like just the regular items, they are the ones that you actually get the other stuff from. So I can show you. It's so confusing. Let me see if I can get one here. This one, let me see. So normally you get what? Frags from the target one, right? The one, the little target symbol. Let me share screen. Let me share my my gameplay here. I'll bring Mako back here. So, oh, why is it not sharing? Share it. Come on. Come on, you know you want to share. Share. Why are you being like that? Oh my god. It was working a second ago. Give me a second. I'll reset. And then I can show you guys. It is the black screen of insanity at the moment. You haven't noticed yet? Okay. It'd be cool if they could at least have, yeah, any kind of rotation or something, but I just think they need to. You rotate out seasonal. No. The best part is having like Christmas stuff up in July. That is the way in neighborhoods, and that is the way in these settlements. That is the way it always is. You don't take down Christmas decorations ever. You leave it up there, you grab everything, it's fine. That's the way you have to do it. So Aerith, I think you are going down the wrong path here. Just leave your Christmas decorations up and whatever other decorations. Just year round. Okay, there we go. So you can see this now. So this one has like no frags, right? This MIGO story one that I'm on. So you would expect this to be similar to like the Infecteds. Potentially, right?
Yep.
But this one is actually one of the Explorers. And I've had ones where you'll get the troops, like these ones. It'll give you like the purple troops. But when you go to it, it's an Infected. It has confused the crap out of me as I've been doing it. Because like I try to send different marches into different areas and do. Let me see. I'm just going to try to do all the troop gatherings here. Because the regular ones are fine. The regular ones with the hands and everything, they're always the regular ones. So they're the little circular encampments. Let me see if I can get another like intel, like a state intel to spawn. And then we can check it. But it has been frustrating. These are the little things that bother me. You dislike the Thanksgiving gourd or whatever it is. Yeah. It's a cornucopia. It's a Thanksgiving cornucopia.
The Horn of Plenty.
Yep, the Horn of Plenty. So, and yeah, that is what it is, unfortunately. Let me see. Maybe if I do this one, it'll unlock another intel. Because I haven't done my dailies at all today. I've been busy running around doing stuff. Work has killed me. So today I haven't had a chance to do the intel. So let me try this one. But yeah, the fact that they're reducing the number of state intels and everything is nice, because that screen used to be filled up with about like 20 different intels for me to do whenever I opened it up. So, I mean, the other side of it, Mako, is for somebody that is able to do a lot of it, right? It does feel like it's a reduction of rewards in some way, because you could have finished those collections a little bit easier. So what do you think? You think this is the right move they did with the intels, or do you think they should have left it, changed the rewards? What are your thoughts?
I don't really see a difference with it, because you're still getting the same amount of intel in your screen. It's just the amount of intel needed for the YITH and the MIGO event. Like to get all of those, it had to be 24 intels. Now it's only 12.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing a whole big difference there, because you're still getting. It says they haven't reduced any of the rewards, so I'm assuming that you're still getting the same full amount of rewards for the 24 as you. But I mean, for somebody who, when I was still really active in the game before 8-star and 5-star came out, I mean, I had an alarm set for 7.5 hours to go do my intel as soon as it refreshed, I had them done. But I know when I was doing MIGO, I probably went through about 1,000 stamina packs. Ooh. Just trying to keep up, because you had the digging event every hour and a half. You got a new key, and you had to skip the green one, so you had to spend 30 stamina on that to get a new chance or to get rid of that one, to skip it. And I was going through stamina left and right trying to get those blue and purple crates. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not very pleasant. But yeah, I think that is a nice change then. It sounds like you think it's a good change too, that they have kind of done that with the Intel's, made your MIGO qualifications a little bit better, so that's good. And then I see what you're saying over there, Eric. So just for you, let me go over here. I'm gonna go to the skins. Let's take a good look at that cornucopia. We're gonna find it here. Let's find the cornucopia. Just for Eric. It's not this one. Although this one is cool. This is a nice Thanksgiving one. This Thanksgiving one is cool, where they actually put the turkey into the HQ. That one is a good one. I like that one. Where is the cornucopia? Is this the cornucopia? No. That's tofu. I like tofu. I do like tofu. I don't even see the cornucopia one.
It's a decoration, not a skin.
Oh, you're talking about the decoration. I have that right here. The bumper harvest. I have that. The cornucopia? Oh, yeah. Oh, I have that one. That one is staying out all year long. I am giving thanks for the fact that I have the bumper harvest in my base. The turkey skin is awesome, Eric. I'm telling you. That one is awesome. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, you're talking about this one. This one is staying. Good old bumper harvest. Yes, appreciate that right there. Just telling you, I had it already in there. I thought you were talking about an HQ skin, but as soon as you said decoration, I knew exactly what it is. It is the bumper harvest. It is the cornucopia. I'm just saying, that is awesome. I have the Halloween tree over here to kind of balance it out. I have like the Christmas stuff right in the middle. I'm telling you, I don't take down these decorations. You're just gonna have to get used to it. The decorations are there.
I will say one thing I really miss is in that the office, the information office.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have the two channels, the guy and the girl.
Yeah.
Now it's just the girl. You don't have the option of the guy.
You don't?
Nope. And I really miss. They used to do a little mini game every once in a while. Like he'd be missing when you went in there, and you could do the mini game where you'd like open this door. They got rid of that too. I used to have fun playing that.
Hold on. I'm gonna miss the fact that guy was walking around the base and you could just keep poking at him and he does like these weird flips. That's
I think
sad.
He's still there. The guy in the all red.
Yeah, that was the guy.
Yep, I've seen it. But he used to, when you go to click on that enlistment, that office building there.
Yeah.
He used to be in there because you could pick one of the two channels, and then
every once in a while
he'd be missing. You had to go find him, and I used to love playing that game.
Yeah. No, I did like playing that game too. I need to use some of my... Yeah, let me get some. I haven't been farming recently. I've been bad. I haven't been farming. But luckily, I have resources in reserve, so I'm just going to use those. But yeah. They should have given us rewards for reaching the end of the mini game you're talking about, or wait?
I think so.
There was an end to the mini game? Oh, I guess if you go through everything, yeah. It just constantly happened, so I assumed. Wait, didn't I repair my barricade? Why is my barricade damaged again? It is. Why is it? Oh my gosh, it's just bugged. It's just saying it's not. I'm like, I fixed you. I shouldn't have a damaged barricade, but it's there. Okay, I got all these. Sorry, I'm clicking on things because I'm playing the game while we're because I haven't had a chance to play. It has been craziness. But yeah, so that is the change that was introduced last week in the developer feedback, and since then we've been able to test it. We wanted to start a new segment this week, and Mako is going to be our main person here that does this. As you saw, when those intels and everything come, I kind of just click through it. But there is a story being told, and that story is being chronicled by none other than Mako. So we are going to get a story update on the whole MIGO and YITH stuff by Mako. He will give us a summary as to kind of what is happening with the plot line so we can actually understand what the hell is going on. So I will turn it over to Mako.
Spoiler warning, if you want to know on your own, don't listen.
Oh, I got a game spoiler warning. I think that may be the first time. That may be the first time where I actually agree with the need of a potential spoiler with regards to game content like this. Aerith is like, yay! She is ready for the story. Okay, Mako,
So,
all you.
for you guys who are still in MIGO, you're building up. It's going to be the factions, so the Raiders, the Holy Wrath, and the your guys' settlement, the Lost Hope. They are all working towards getting, well, GigaCorp put out a thing that said, come work with us. We've got a vaccine for the sickness. So everybody wanted a part of it. So they all rushed in. And then they found out that GigaCorp was lying. So then it turned into a war between the three factions and GigaCorp. And it went into figuring out that one of the researchers for GigaCorp, Ripley, was actually trying to recreate a insect god called MIGO that he read about by experimenting on scorpions and spiders and wasps, which is why all of the infected for the MIGO event look like those
Mutated
insects.
bugs. Yeah.
So it happened out that he started, a janitor or a researcher put all of the cells in a garbage can, and the janitor picked them up. One of the things broke and infected the janitor. That was your first MIGO infected. And then that's where it spread from there into human testing on all these insects. And eventually it broke out, and that was how MIGO was created. So now we roll into YITH. I'll back up. So at the end of MIGO, you find out that the Holy Wrath is broken up into like 6 or 7 different factions, and each faction is led by a disciple. So you have Disciple M, which is supposedly a really beautiful woman. Disciple A is the most powerful. And then that leads into the YITH event, where this giant mushroom is just sprouted up randomly out of the ground and is covering the land. And it starts off pretty funny because everybody's enthralled by the mushrooms. So they want to get close, so they actually barricade it off and don't tell anybody, or tell anybody don't go near it. But the chef of the group wants to go and make mushroom soup, so he goes and tries to sneak in and steal mushrooms. And actually, they meet somebody who has been eating mushrooms, and he's been eating them for a while because he's sick of tomatoes, and it actually messes with his mind, and he becomes more violent and agitated. So they find out that you want to stay away from him. So then it leads to Dr. Yamazaki, who wants to figure out more about this. So he reaches out to a colleague called Dr. Alcott, who is a fungal extraordinaire before the pandemic, and then he disappeared, and then he resurfaced, and when they finally made contact with him, he is all about the Holy Wrath, and because his name is Dr. Alcott, they believe there's a high strong probability that he is Deacon A from the Holy Wrath, and he's the leader of the Holy Wrath's most powerful faction right now. And that's where I'm at in the story, is that they're trying to put 2 and 2 together, Dr. Alcott and Deacon A.
So we're about to go up against the most difficult of the holy.
So it's going to be the Holy Wrath versus the Lost Hope.
Well, hot damn.
Showdown.
Mm-hmm. That voice you're hearing, by the way, is the voice of somebody that is very late. Just he is late, but he is here. It is delete. There you go. And then we can get, let me get Mako back on here. So I'm gonna do this, and then let's see if this works. There we go. Now we got Mako back.
Nice. Sorry I'm late, everybody.
No, you're not.
Real life.
You're not
yeah. Man, I've never wanted to. I was at my son's baseball game, and it got called due to darkness, and they weren't able to complete the inning, but they had just come back from being down 1 to being up 4.
Oh wow.
So when they called the game due to darkness, what happens is because the inning isn't completed, it goes back to them losing. So, and this was like, I think there's a chance we still get into playoffs, but if we won, we were in the playoffs. And because we may have lost, it goes to like, run differential or whatever. So it depends on like one team that's playing tomorrow. So he's like, what? Wait, what? And he got in to pitch and he did really well. And he shut the other team down to close the game. And it was just like, they were like, he was 2 strikes. He had 2 strikes on and 1 out in the inning. So it was almost 2 outs. And they were like, all right, nobody can see. And it was just like, wait, why don't you just let him finish the game? So it was a lot. That's more than you need to know about my son's baseball game, but that's the reason I'm late.
And there is story time with Delete.
Seriously.
Story time with everyone. You got story time with Mako telling us everything about MIGO and YITH as he currently knows. Then you got Delete telling us a baseball story. Like, it's just... You get a little bit of everything here.
That's what's going on. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's cool though. The MIGO story is actually pretty solid. I mean, it's funny that it was a janitor that basically totally, started the whole end of the world. But
I mean, isn't that the way it always is? It's either a janitor or some like pesky kid that does something he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's just always that way.
It's just kind of the way it works out.
I mean, yeah. They're the worst. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see if this one works. Is this regular? Yeah, this is regular infected. Okay. I was telling Mako that the rewards were not matching the symbols for a lot of these, and it was annoying me, but this one seems to be okay. But yeah. It was bothering me. Millsy's saying you are excused from being late. RL first. There you go. Thank
you.
Yeah, they should have just postponed it with just 2 outs. I mean, that's kind of silly, but yeah.
Yeah.
It should have old school ball with the headlights.
We were considering it, but then the umpire, because he's in an umpire league now, and it was just like the umpire was just like, I'm out, bye. And the parents were not happy with this umpire, so he literally ran. He ran off the field. It was pretty crazy.
Well, that's because he had dinner waiting. That's why he had to go. I mean,
I agree. There was something. He was like a 20. He looked like a 22-year-old kid, and he was trying to be like the cool umpire. So he had sunglasses on, even though the sun wasn't out and it was kind of dark. He was still wearing sunglasses and getting calls wrong, so everyone started roasting him. A couple people started calling him Doogie Howser. It was pretty funny. I was like, I don't think a lot of people even know who that is anymore.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
No, they only know him as Barney. They only know him as Barney now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got it. This new Intel just refreshed. Okay, so here you go. I click on the thing with the little movie theater. Here are the purple troops that I should be getting. I go to it. It is a freaking infected. It is an infected that is waiting for me. I don't know why it went into the base. I clicked on the infected, but yeah. It is very, very confusing now. When there are troops, and instead of the troops, I get the freaking... This right here. I can't... It's hard for me to click on it. There you go. This is not the little circle thing that I get the troops from. You see what I'm saying now? How they just messed it up? Meanwhile, let me guess. This one is giving me just other rewards. This one is that stupid circle thing. The one without the troops is giving me the encampment. I'm going to the encampment to apparently pick up a wrench.
Nice.
A very important wrench.
Or a paper. No, It's only giving me the paper. It's only giving me a paper.
Paper is very valuable in the apocalypse. I mean, toilet paper can't be, easy to come by.
Oh, God. Yes, Aerith. Finn is mad. Finn does not like inconsistencies. When I see the troops, I am expecting to be able to send a march that doesn't count against my march total in order to go pick up troops and bring them back. When I click on this and I see troops, my first reaction is, oh, look, I can send another march. And then I go to it and it's a freaking infected. Yeah, Finn is upset. Finn gets upset over stupid things.
Well, you don't want those. You don't want those troops anyways. They can't even kill infected.
I know. They're lame and they need our help. I mean, that's all it is. They need our help. I can't leave them abandoned. I'm gonna save them. This is awful. This, but it is. It's annoying because this has been happening for a while since the introduction of the MIGO event. I've noticed that the Intel ones don't match up to what they. And I don't know. I don't understand why. It just makes for some annoyance. That's all it is. It annoys me, so it works.
Just another wonky thing in State of Survival.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, Delete, I think the devs like us. An hour and a half before the start of the stream, they posted a developer feedback.
Oh.
There is a new developer feedback, so everyone is going to get our first reaction live. They're going to get our first reaction live. So I'm gonna buy all my plasma things here. Click, 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 click. Give me. Nah. Give me more. More. Ah, I'm out of bios. I'll get some more bios later. Okay. So, here is the developer feedback that was posted an hour and a half ago. And we'll go through this one at a time and we'll get all of our reactions live for the first time because I haven't read it yet either before I'm reading it live for you guys. So, here we go. Greetings, survivors. Welcome back to our developers feedback time. We've recently received a lot of feedback from players about the Ascertain heist, called AH for short. Thanks for your support. We will do a QA today for the last AH beta test. So, first question. Why did we develop AH and what are the requirements for participation? The answer. AH is intended to be a new, fun, strategic PvP feature that is welcoming to all players regardless of their real battle power. Suggestions from players will help us improve AH. After improvement, it will be open to all players regularly. If you're putting HQ 28s in the same as a Plasma 5, that is not really being welcoming to all players.
No.
You have welcomed all players in and effectively threw all the other non-Plasma 5 or higher down into the cellar. That's you can welcome them into the house, but you want to let them around the house. You don't want to just stick them in the basement so that they can't do anything. That's effectively what was going on with that. I understand it was a beta, but something was missed if you were mixing those HQs. That's all I can kind of figure out. Mako, your thoughts on that response and that question?
I kind of have the same feelings. I mean, yes, it was a beta, but you introduced it to every state at the exact same time. I feel like a beta should have been tested a small amount of states to get it right, because you're lumping, we had 6 states in it at a time, and the servers couldn't handle it, so it was super laggy. I just feel if there was going to be a beta, you should have tested it like they're doing with the comeback region switch states is only 10 states, but this was the entire collective of the entire SOS playing community.
Yeah. Well, we'll go to the next one. Delete, we'll get your reaction first on this one. So the question, what is maximum capacity of people in the AH map and what is the matching logic? The response, the maximum capacity for the AH map has now been adjusted to 500 players. Players whose states open at a close time will very likely be matched in the same battlefield, enjoying a relatively favorable game experience. So they're matching up the states based on if they're matching you up in AH based on other people in states that open similar to you, is that a fair reason for the discrepancy, or is it still a problem in your opinion?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because there's certain states, all because they're close to you doesn't mean they match you in power in any way. Like you could have a state there could be a state, state we were in 125. If they were someone in 126 and say they didn't have a max player and we have like 3, like all because we opened up doesn't mean that anything else is nearly close, so that doesn't make sense as a logical way to kind of do it, and 500 players sounds like a lot, but like I didn't do it, I missed my time, but I feel like that sounds like a lot, and to get a evenly match amount of players when you're looking at 500, when other reasons, where you can't even get it done where you're doing it between 2 alliances, which is 60 players. I don't see how that makes sense. So I don't know. I feel like they needed to go back on the drawing board and they should have tested this, more. Like half the game says beta still. So I don't understand why this one needed to kind of be rushed. And it also feels like we go from months of having nothing new, and then all of a sudden, everything's starting at the same time. Maybe they should just trickle it out, get one thing right and move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. Like MIGO is fine. And then like right after it, it was just like, here we go. Yeah, right back into it. Like they probably could have waited a little bit, spaced it out in between, and then did ascertain heist, like in between them, and then go back to this is now YITH, so
yeah,
that would have made a lot more sense. But
no, I think timing is a big factor in this. I think with how much was going on last week with the AH and stuff, like there was too much other stuff going on. They have pulled back a lot with YITH and MIGO. I'm about to say myth. They're doing well and pulling some of that back, which I think should hopefully free up time. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, if they space it out a little bit more, I think they'll make better results because people were like working towards MIGO and I'm sure they're gonna work to YITH for the ones that have it. Like that was getting players involved. There were issues with the digs and all of that, but that doesn't mean they weren't being involved in trying to get their MIGO up. So I think that is a fair point. 500 players actually is quite a bit. I mean, even with Reservoir Raid, that's what, 50 plus 10 in reserve? Or how much is the...
It's 60.
60.
It's 30 per alliance.
Yeah.
30 per alliance. Okay. So that means 60 people there, and Reservoir Raid is craziness. Like it is already craziness with that. I can understand it being more than that because it's 30 of an alliance versus 30 of another alliance, right? So I can kind of see that. Maybe if you double that amount to like 120, and then you have 120 individuals rather than 30 versus 30 that are grouped together, that could make for better. But 500, I agree, is a lot of players. And it's also, the larger you make the number, the bigger the disparity you're going to make between the top and the bottom, even if you try to group them with however close you can, right? The top and bottom are just going to have 500 people worth of difference versus like 120. So you're just inherently going to make the matchups more difficult for the lower end. And if all you're doing it is basing it on their state because the states were close, it's not going to be a welcoming experience for the lower HQ players that are active in those other states. So,
yeah.
I mean, I understand what they're doing. They need to go a little bit further in their steps in order to try and make it better, I think.
Well, and it's even a little bit more different than Reservoir Raid because that's a team thing. So you've got 30 people working together where this is 500 individuals and there's no team. Because we had me, Sin, Nath, and I think 2 others from Law in my time zone.
Oh yeah.
It's not like you can do anything together. You just like, you see each other in chat and you say, hey, what's up? I'm over here in this area. Like, you can't send a rally. I mean, it's just, and everybody's got at least 5 or 6 marches. So, I mean, you look at how bogged down Capital gets with people, and that's not even 500 people with their marches rocking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think I saw light mode come on one time. So.
Wow.
Yeah. The quote unquote kind of like capital in Azertane Heist is ridiculous. The amount of arrows, just the sheer number of arrows. Not just that, the little portrait change icon can't keep up. It's just like change, and it's like 20 people behind, but all you see is pop, X, pop, X, pop, X. It's just over and over again. That's
classic.
Bad. Yeah. Next time you do AH, just watch. Even if you're not participating, like if you're not at the high level that you can like really take over the little like heist capital, just watch it and watch the little symbol. It is insane what is happening there. Because it's just march after march after march over and over again. And when you get hit by like 50 marches, at some point you're going to fall regardless of who you are.
Well, that's, even if you're at a low level, send a march just for fun and giggles. Because you might get that one that's been hit 7 times, and you're that little one that just goes, oh, yeah, I got it.
Yep.
It's so funny.
Claim your victory and be happy.
I remember in 359 we sent like a 18-minute march to Capital and we won.
Yeah. It landed at the perfect time.
It was just like yeah, let's just let's go get some points or whatever. Send it like a suicide while we were doing random stuff or whatever. I think it was like maybe I was a level 26 at the time, and like I just started playing. And next thing you know, it's just like, all right, let's go. Boom, lands, hits, and we were like, yeah, we are holding Capital right now. That was hilarious. So you never know.
I know. I have held Capital solo before in 359.
Ooh.
It's because they were like retreating all the troops when another march was coming. So I literally sped up my march after they pulled everything. I was just in there. I screenshotted and pulled back. So for a second, I had Capital.
That's funny.
I mean, it was there. It was empty. I took advantage, and that was it. All right, we'll go to Mako for the next one. So the next question that was asked in the developer feedback is, what are the key tips for achieving a great performance in Azertane Heist? And the response is, some intelligent players might already know that the key factors to performing better are to effectively deploy mining stamina and troops to collect as much eruptive gas as possible. In addition, players need to come up with a strategy based on their own battle power and choose corresponding fields.
Yep, I would agree with that. The eruptive gas fields are just like the water tanks in Reservoir Raid. So after like, I think, was it 15 minutes they showed up, I think, or 20?
I joined late, so I don't know when they actually...
I want to say either 15 or 20 minutes because they only came twice, I think.
Okay.
But they're worth 3,000 of the eruptive gas or whatever, and it only takes like 4 seconds to mine it. Whereas the other ones, like the level ones, take 7 or 8 minutes, and it's worth 8,000. I mean, you could, with the way the first round I came up and I just started coming back on a few of my marches, so I was sending them out. But the second time I pulled everything, so that was ready for when they started, and I sent all 6 marches out to do the eruptive ones because they were quicker and you can get more out of it in a short period of time. So. I guess, yeah, it would have been nice going into it to know that because first time, but yeah, that's actually good for people to know that didn't get in last time or didn't know before if they weren't paying attention because it was so chaotic. So that's a pretty good piece of information.
Yeah. Delete, any thoughts?
No, none. I mean, it's good to kind of get a strategy out there because I felt like this was just dumped on you, It was just like, oh, nobody knows what they're doing, and I guess everyone's on a level playing field when no one knows what they're doing. But
Mhm.
it's still, I mean, it's good to kind of give hints,
Yeah.
and typically, I will say though that like whenever they do give hints on what to play and how to play the game, they're usually pretty good.
I mean, I don't think what they said was wrong. The only thing I would put like a caveat in is like knowing your battle power and choosing corresponding fields. Like, there's more to it if you're a low level HQ. Like, it's not only picking the corresponding field, it is finding an area that's not inhabited by somebody much higher than you that's just going to knock you out in the middle of your mine and then claim everything that you drop. Like, that's effectively what's going to happen if you're not careful. So it's not just about your positioning in the field, it's also like where you are going surrounding based on the other people that are there. Like, you literally have to find like an unoccupied area if you're like a really low HQ with a bunch of plasma. So if you're like if you're an HQ 27 and everybody else is a plasma, you're going to try to find a place where you can just kind of hide, be active, pull your troops if someone's taking a march to your base, grab what you can. Like, it'll be it'll definitely be more difficult if you're a lower HQ with the way that it was currently set up. Okay. So we'll go to delete next for the next question. And for the question that was asked of the devs, what are the main problems we found in the July 21 Ascertain Heist beta test? And the response, we were pleasantly surprised to see over 350,000 players participate in Ascertain Heist during the beta on July 21st, and we are very grateful for the players' participation and support for this new feature. At the same time, the sheer number of participants also resulted in high server load. Many players encountered problems such as not being able to enter the battlefield normally, game interruptions, abnormal display of marching troops' eruptive gas. We also found other issues such as players not being able to return normally after leaving the battlefield, or mining stamina that would be returned when attacking the gas research lab. In response to these issues, we have compensated the relevant players and are actively working on fixing bugs in the game. Thoughts, Elite?
I mean, they should know the limitations of their game. Because there's also been a lot of scenarios like Res League, like the chat wasn't working, and that's just two alliances. I mean, I get it that they were doing a lot more, like a lot more res raids at the same time, but they should know when like things start to break. They should know like that situation. So that's kind of inexcusable to be like, yeah, well, yeah, I can't believe that this stuff started breaking down. Chat doesn't work, or the game's not acting correctly. It's like that's just a bizarre thing that they can't figure out. And with a company that's frankly postponed start dates to things, they should have just been like, you know what, we're going to push this back. We're not going to do this today. Sorry, everybody. I know you were looking forward to it, but we're going to, because I remember when State Warfare was coming out and they pushed that back multiple times. It wasn't just once. So I don't see the need, because it doesn't even seem like Ascertain Heist is a money grab either. It's not like you're spending in that. So this isn't like a financial thing, like where, hey, our balance sheet's a little off. We need to go ahead and pump out a new part of the game to like get some more money in. It doesn't seem like that at all. So I don't understand why that's a thing, and like how they didn't know and they needed feedback to figure that out.
Yeah. And Eric B is saying that they're possibly adding a social networking game.
Yeah. What? I mean, like,
take advantage of the fact that there's people in the game all the time and looking to socialize. Like, I can see it even in our state chat. Like, people are trying to socialize with other people, and yeah. So if there's an opportunity for it, take it. It doesn't bother me any. I think it's good. So
yeah. I do fear that, like the chat in this game is probably one of the worst chats I've seen as far as games. And it's pretty crazy, that it is as social as it is with, because it's either your alliance or everyone. There's no like in between. There's no like adding separate groups. Like it kind of forces you to kind of use like a Discord or, a Line or whatever, other additional app you want to play with or utilize. This one just doesn't want you to do anything. There's no like customer service portion of the chat. It's a completely separate thing. It's it's kind of an underutilized thing. It's something, if they were looking to develop something in game to help participation, it should be one of the chats. It should be allowing for groups, allowing for like an R4 chat, like the res, even the res rate chat is still wonky, like it opens and it closes and then people are like typing on multiple things and no one's ever really on the same page, and it's always like, oh wow, this is kind of bizarre. So it's just like they need to be better as far as that's concerned.
I agree. Mako?
I definitely agree with that. The thing I don't fathom with the AH is you brought it in because people were complaining that there wasn't enough new stuff in the game. And then you're surprised at how many people signed up for it because, I mean, people are dying for new things. I mean, yes, you're giving us new heroes every 6 weeks, but for the people who can't afford it or who have maxed out, they're not getting the new heroes every 6 weeks. So State of Survival is stale. I mean, Alliance Throwdown, great. We are just stale as an alliance in law because we don't have the participation. 40 people sign up for frickin' Showdown and you're supposed to have 60. It's just people are looking for new stuff, and then you introduce something new and you are surprised at how many people signed up for it is just mind-boggling to me. Like, yeah, you're gonna want people who want to play a new event. It's something new and shiny. They want to play it.
Yeah, completely.
And we've
So
said we've said this on RSG about a different game altogether, and it fits with this too. New heroes, new characters do not count as content. We understand that it's a moneymaker and no one is trying to prevent you from making money and capitalizing on that, but it's not new content. So just the constant release of characters does not help to alleviate the fact that people are looking for new things in the game all the time. So just kind of keep that in mind as well.
Yeah,
we'll go to the next.
And it's a very valid point. It's like, the animations, are cool to see, like the first time you see them. But it's not like it changes your gameplay at all.
Yeah.
And it's always been, and especially this game, I think that's the one biggest downfall is they all have different skills, right? And each one matches up, with each other. But the problem is that you can only use your 3 strongest guys or gals. It's the 3 strongest heroes. So the skills are just, it's not even a thing. If I've got my top heroes out, the skills, the only way that I lose is not if someone goes ahead and pulls different heroes together. They've got to use their 3 strongest heroes or else they don't even have a chance. Because the skills don't outweigh the percentages. So it's like, thanks for writing this and thanks for putting this all together, but it doesn't mean a damn because I'm locked into using these 3. And then they tried to do it where it was like, oh, I'm linking up. You can go ahead and link, each person. And it's like, all right, I'm like, should I go ahead and put Wacko on my top hero now? Should I do that? Is his skills that much better? There's no way to really find out what's really better, in the game because everyone's using the same thing. So I don't know. I was like, man, maybe I should link Daryl and Wacko to my new 2 strongest heroes to see if that makes any sense. But I I figured I'd test it during SBS. If someone's strong, because usually it's like, all right, we'll hit them in the tower or something, and next thing you know, all right, wow, that player's pretty strong. Let me see where they're at. If I use this, see if that works. But I don't know. Players, it's not content, and that's what everyone wants. And if you want people to continue playing the game, and where they're just not like, all right, this is very rinse and repeat, then you have to develop stuff.
Yeah.
And it's sad that like Adjertine Heist was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the winner. This is,
There is potential. I'll say that there is. There's definitely potential to make this a good game mode. It just wasn't executed well in the first test. But it is a beta test. I think they could have put a better kind of foot forward with the beta test, because some of these things should have been like picked up very early in like maybe an early alpha or a smaller beta before kind of a live release to everyone. But there is a lot of opportunity, I think, to make this a good game mode. But matchmaking is definitely a bigger thing. And when you do something that's reliant on matchmaking, you have to be fairly careful about making sure it's at least somewhat reasonable. When we were talking about the chat, Eric put in chat, why can't I just message R4s? I think... Go ahead, Mako.
I agree 100%. That would be so much helpful that instead of exiting out, going into Discord, talking in our leadership chat, where half the people don't look at it anyways, or they're busy in game so they can't, and then you go back in the game, and the only thing you can do to message multiple people is copy and paste over and over and over, or send a group message, and then everybody in the alliance gets it. So if you're talking about somebody in the alliance, they know anyways.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Seriously. It's awful. It really is. It's awful. So there's no they don't make anything easy for you in chat. Chat is literally like it's a typewriter. It really is. It really is a typewriter. It's awful.
Eric B was saying, why can't we just type only the names we want to group message? Eric was saying the same thing, or individually selecting people in the group message.
Shouldn't be that difficult.
I'll play devil's advocate on this one, just to say the game is providing a chat feature, right? But that's not their focus. Their focus is not going to be the actual chat, because here's the other part to it too. Let's look at it from the SVS perspective, right? There is almost no way I can feasibly see, even if we gave them the opportunity, for them to be able to coordinate SVS inside of the game. With all of the alliances that are working together, trying to coordinate, right? Especially during SVS, when you will have people in your opposing state creating accounts in your state. So it's not like you can use state chat, right? That's the only real mechanism available for you to be able to talk to the other alliance, at least in a mass, right? Potentially, if you can name people, you might be able to make a group message, maybe with the R5s of the other alliances, pass down messages. That's still not the same as what you can do in Discord when you have like a state Discord, right? So I think ultimately their focus may be, oh, well, there is a chat in game. It'll provide you some basic stuff, but we know you're using other chat programs because there's just certain things we can't do in game. So we're just kind of letting you go there, and we're not going to focus on the chat. And I would just think, yeah, that's fine. Don't focus on chat. Worry about the content. Get Azertane Heist going. Maybe some basic functionality to the chat, right? But at some point, it's going to be more than what this game is kind of designed to handle, which is the chat is just supposed to be an assist in different things, but it's not supposed to be your main chat mechanism for a lot of things. And I think most alliances, especially if you're more active and higher end, that is what they're doing. They're using Discord or whatever other Slack or whatever they're using for chat. They're using something else. So I kind of don't blame them for this, but that's just my thought.
I would counter you for SVS. So to get rid of the state chat, because you're gonna have people who do accounts in your state, what if you did, instead of the strike team chat, like you wouldn't call it alliance, but basically an alliance between, like, let's say Triple X, Rod, and us. If we went in and marked it, yep, we're friendly, then we get a chat where just friendly alliances can talk to each other for SVS. I think that narrows it down, because then you get rid of your alt accounts to just pop in for SVS, because they don't have, you're not going to be friendly with their fake alliance they're making. But I mean, honestly, the strike team chat isn't used except for plague zones. And I mean, I don't even know when the last time I did a plague zone was, because I've gotten all my Maddie fragments, and then she's general and a lady. So
Yeah. It just and also I think the chat being better keeps people in game, and I get it. Like State of Survival has a Discord, so they definitely want you to use it, and Discord's solid. It's solid. But I think the whole goal is to keep people in your game, right? And just like having more participation. So if the chat was better, everyone would kind of stay online a little bit more. It's supposed to just kind of, I'm just not really going to play the game. I'm just going to chat it up in Discord, which is kind of counterproductive to what you want. So if the chat was just a little bit better, I think it would go a long way as far as getting people to stay in game, and just getting those billable hours. The more time you get it, the closer you get to just going, you know what, maybe I will speed this up.
I'll go
next
maybe
thing you know.
one new idea then for you, Delete. They managed to get Walking Dead as part of State of Survival. They should hopefully be able to find a way to integrate Discord into the app. Forget about recreating the wheel. Just have Discord maybe on the side, like up and to the right where it's on my screen right now. Just have like a little Discord app, like a little cutout right here. You get your Discord. You can go through your channels and all of that. It's just right here. So you don't even have to leave the game in order to use Discord in order to chat. Because I understand your point, Mako, like a friendly alliance, so you can have that kind of bigger chat set up in the game. I think that would be nice. It still doesn't provide a way, for example, for you to send up. I know our state will often use diagrams. They'll like map out where the towers are. They'll map out where the state is, where the capital is, where each person is looking to be positioned, or where the different strike teams are going to be attacking from. You don't get that opportunity in this game. They don't even let you use all the emotes. You have to use their like restricted emotes. So if they're not letting you use all of your emotes, they're not going to let you put in like an image of your choice. So that would be the only drawback.
McVenom had a copy and paste of her flipping a table with parentheses. So, I mean, you can get creative with chat.
Yes. Oh, you can ASCII draw a lot of things. Don't worry. I know you can ASCII draw a lot of things. And it's a lot of fun to try, too. Just throwing that out there.
I do want to check on one thing for Eric B in the chat, because I think it's interesting, and I've played with it when we first started the game. So he said it would be great if there were different hero combinations to create more strategy. When I first started playing, if you read the skills for Ghost and for Chef, so Chef has an Incinerate with the flamethrower, right? And Ghost brings down, in the Explorer missions, he brings down that canister of paint that blocks them, and then when that explodes, it leaves paint on the ground that is flammable. I always went into my Explorer missions with Chef and Ghost because I thought it was a boost to damage. I was like, oh, he's gonna drop that paint thing, and then he's gonna light it on fire, and it's gonna do extra damage, and it never did anything. So yeah, I would love to see that, because then you could get your different combinations of heroes that link together. Like, all right, this hero's dog does a bleed effect or something, and then this hero's does increased damage to wounded people. I mean, it would be awesome if you had that synergy, but I just don't think there's the time and effort, because it's got to be focused on other things that people are more likely to be important. Like, everybody's pushing for this merge, which is coming in October, and I don't want them to take away from that and push it back to December like we were talking about if they're going to focus on hero synergy. I would rather the big stuff be done correctly, but eventually, or if it was somewhere down the line, I would love to see more heroes doing interaction stuff and making them stronger, like combination attacks.
Yeah, like, and you can sort of see it in like, um, like in the underground tasks, where it's like, oh, if you have, it's a 10% buff for female members, if you use this or whatever, or like, there's so many different things that they can do, and so many other games do it. Like if you use two of these and one of these, you get this buff. If you go the other way, you get this buff. Like, and it just adds to, the value of it. But I guess it could take away from the fact that when a new hero comes out, you have to buy it, or else you won't be strong enough. If they make it where you could get by with your old heroes, the craving to kind of do that goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see why it's, monetarily, making, older heroes relevant isn't really that great, So
there is the
I don't know.
thing we talked about last time though, which is when they introduce new heroes, not all the heroes have the same kind of set of abilities, right? They're not all like infantry, siege, rally. They're not all like infected and patrol or whatever it is. So they're
Yeah.
constantly cycling that. I agree. I think Mako's is awesome. If you can start interrelating the skills to try and make them more effective, that would be fantastic. I'm going to go one step higher, which is possibly not more complicated. Make the actual like different qualities of the heroes actually make more of a difference, where if you group them together, that's where you get it, right? Because you do have the rally, you have the siege, you have the patrol. We know patrol is better on the wall, but honestly, I'm pretty sure the higher level heroes is still going to be better than just your patrol on the wall, simply because their stats are better. So there needs to be an opportunity to kind of boost those, where those things do make a difference if you put them in the right scenario. And the other ones, because they're newer, may not be bad, but the other ones still have a little bit of advantage, regardless of how old they are. So the only time like a Gen 1 would be worse than another newer hero if they were a patrol hero and you put them on the wall is if Gen 5 also has a same like punchy wall hero, a punchy patrol hero that you replace it. That's when it is truly better. They don't really implement a lot of those skills. It looks like the rally, the siege. You don't even really see infected in the gold. I think it just ends with Sarge, right? I think Sarge is the only one that's like infected. I don't know if any of the legendary heroes actually have infected.
Nicola, right? Isn't Nicola?
Does
Yeah,
Nicola?
he is.
Okay. So
Yeah,
tier 1.
but it's like it doesn't really count towards. I don't even think it counts in Horde.
Yeah, but he's like
You
a tier.
know?
He's a tier 1 hero. He was like one of the first.
Yeah,
He's like there with the opening, right?
yeah.
So since then they have like nothing. So it is one of those where if they started to implement those a little more, I think you'd be able to see some of the different combinations that we could put together with different heroes. Still making the newest
I'm
heroes more
also.
powerful, but
I also want them to just completely get rid of the captain, rally captain, because it doesn't matter in almost anything that you do. I don't even think it matters if you're doing it for like SPS and you're sending like a march to capital or whatever, or even a facility or a bunker. I don't think that matters either. Like I think they should just get rid of it. I think it's just a waste of space
there you go.
because it just doesn't make any sense. If it made sense, or if it was like, oh yeah, all right. So now you've got two exactly max characters, but one of them has a different captain, and that makes the difference. Okay, I could see that and being like, oh, he set the different captain. All right, so now I got to go ahead and counter with this as captain and see if that wins or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I could see that, but I don't think it does. I don't think it does at all.
Yeah. All right. We have 2 more questions left from the developer feedback. I'll read both of them, and then we'll kind of get everyone's feedback and see if there's any questions. You guys can keep up with everything in the chat. We are reading chat, of course. And yeah, Eric B was saying if there was a chat like Reservoir Raid for SVS, that would be nice for communication within the state. But again, the problem is, what do you do about the infiltrators? right? They'll create an account in your state, so you can't easily exclude them, right? Potentially, you can put a moratorium on creating an account during SVS. So once you get the assignment, it just ends the ability to create an account in that state until after SVS is done. That may be a way potentially, but I could easily see everybody just making one account in every state because you, or at least like rotating it around so different people have it so you cover as much as you can. Especially since now they basically told us like you're going to be getting your assignments based on states that are close to you. So you know which states to do it. You just maybe 10 below, 10 above, you got yourself covered. So um yeah, I'm not sure if that would necessarily resolve it fully. Yes, Aerith, I am sad you can't put animated gifs in the chat. I would say it would become a fun cluster in chat if you could put animated gifs in there. It would just be insane. And then Eric B is saying, I hope with the merge we get the Hero Academy or whatever other gadgets the new game has so we can eventually compete with them. I hope so too. I don't know how they're going to ultimately do the state merge. I think I told Delete, like, even in 125, I think they could update your hero precinct, not necessarily to have the training academy. I think that throws off everything, especially the fact that people have bought XP on their characters. So I don't necessarily think that they would add the actual like training part of it. However, the hero reset I think is something that should be added in 125 because there really is no detriment to the hero reset. The hero reset basically says, "Oh, well, this character has all this XP. You want to switch it? Just switch it." It's not really negating your investment. It's that same amount that you already invested. You're just transferring into a different one.
Yeah, but then you don't have to pay for all that new XP.
You don't, but then you
Because-
also lose the ability to use the other hero.
True. Which
So
you don't use at all anyway.
which you may not, yeah. So that becomes kind of the
'Cause-
trade-off, and you just kind of learn. But I don't think I don't think XP is where they're making their money, anyways. They
No.
might be making some, but it's all hero gear, chief badges. That's where
Yeah.
they're making their money, and then potentially healing speed ups during the actual events.
Yeah, because I mean XP is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you play the game, it's cheap. You know, I mean, it's not that bad. You know, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get them all the way up to 80. You know, it's like I'll be at like 76, you know, for like a while or whatever, or 72 for a while when I get someone up to general, just because it's just like, you know, and plus I don't play as much as I used to because it's not really that much to kind of like, you know, to kind of keep me going, you know, like to grind that hard. Mako, is it raining by you? I think that's
That
two
was
lightning
some
bolts
lightning.
I've seen.
Yeah, I got a pretty big storm going on behind me.
Yeah, that was some lightning behind you.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it almost looked like, you know, like a cop blue strobe light for a second. I was just like, whoa. I was like, maybe Mako's having like a, you know, like a drive-by going on.
No, it's his wife just telling him it's time to get off. She just signs the flashlight in the window.
Yeah, right?
That's the signal. Click, 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 click.
How many drinks have you had today?
All right, so let's get to the last two here, the last two questions that were asked, and we'll kind of get both feedback because these ones are a little shorter. The first one, will the developers improve the Ascertain Heist rewards? Response, based on the recent suggestions given by players, we will optimize the rewards of AH in subsequent versions. The total rewards that players can get in the AH will be increased, especially for players who achieve better rankings. At the same time, metal materials might be custom. Players can flexibly select the rewards according to their actual situation. And then the next one, how to make Ascertain Heist more strategic in the future. And the response, to make AH more strategic is another important issue for us. We hope to reduce the burden of repeated operations by reducing the event duration per time, increasing the amount of mining stamina dropped in the battlefield, and optimizing the occupation mechanism for the gas research labs, and the increase and increase the strategic factors that affect the ranking. We hope you enjoyed the above content. If you have any other suggestions for Ascertain Heist, please share your thoughts in the comments. And there you go. So, I mean, I'm glad they're looking at rewards. The rewards were kind of crap. So I'm glad that they're increasing it overall. They are giving a bonus to those that get higher, which is also good. It's the way it should be, right? The higher you get, the more rewards. So that's simple enough. And then player flexibility for picking their, like, kind of selecting the rewards based on their situation, I think is fine also. So overall, at least with the rewards part, I'm pretty good. The more strategic part, I mean, those are similar things that they did with kind of different things in game already, right? Reducing kind of the overall time that you need and trying to make it less repetitive. They did with Capital, right? They reduced you guys from 12 hour or 24 hours to 12 hours. So you can kind of handle that in a reasonable time.
Now it's to 8.
Now it's to 8 without telling us. Yes, we did talk about that. Then the other part, increasing the amount of mining stamina dropped. That's always good too. Gives you more opportunity to be able to grab that. And then the optimizing the occupation mechanism. Too vague for me to know what that means. It just, I don't know what optimizing the mech. I don't know if that means that you're like, once you take over, they can't like attack you for a little while. Like, I don't know what optimizing means for this scenario. So that's definitely a question. And then just increasing strategic factors that affect the ranking, which probably means they're gonna have more things just to throw little wrenches into you just occupying and grabbing. So, I mean, overall, I think those two were fine. Juggernaut says, by the way, welcome, Juggernaut. Juggernaut says, as the game progresses with more heroes, it will be worth it. Heroes are stronger if maxed and not in training. I don't think there's a difference.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like if you have them, I mean, it makes a difference if you have them in general. You know, like
ranking is different than leveling because the training only deals with level.
Levels.
So the levels don't really provide a difference. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Juggernaut.
Yeah, because I don't think if you're 80 in hero precinct or 80 by doing it, you know, by XP books, I don't think there's a difference. I don't think the game goes, oh, you did it the cheap way. Yeah, you did it the cheap way. You know, it's a little bit less. I don't think it does.
Yeah, because it affects the same stats. You just going into the hero precinct affects your stats over here, the health, attack, and defense, and then the only other thing outside of that is the march capacity, which is listed in military, but it's actually based on your level. So those are the only things that are really affected. So I'm not sure if I'm missing something there, Juggernaut, with what you're saying, but there shouldn't be a reason why the same hero, whether in the training or not, should be any different. They should be the same. So I am curious what you are referring to, but yeah. I mean, Delete, do you have any other thoughts on those 2 points or that they last came out with?
No, I mean, I think, you know, I mean, listen, I mean, whenever you have something that you like, you always have to, or it seems like the game always tries to optimize those scenarios. So at least they're trying. They're just not like, you know, this sucked. You know, I mean, I do like the fact that they're going into more of a pick your own reward, because you'll try harder when you can pick your own reward. You know, if you're that much closer to hero gear and you can get hero gear, you know, as opposed to it just being locked in a chief gear, which you don't need, you know, you're like, oh, I'll give it a run. You know, so when you can pick your reward, that's so much better for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that opens up, you know, the fact of how, like, you know, maybe they'll do something finally for bunkers and facilities, pick your own reward, you know, or do something different there, you know, or for anything, because it's like, hey, I'd rather have, you know, gold hero frags, blank gold hero frags than than something else, because it's everything else is kind of max. So, or I'd rather have plasma. I mean, it makes more sense from a business standpoint to make it that way.
Nope, I agree. Mako, how about you?
No, that's pretty much hits the nail on the head. I mean, we've been talking for what, 30 episodes now that bunker and facility rewards need to be updated.
You guys need to get more in yours too. You guys need centers. That's what you guys need.
Yeah, centers would be so much more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're tougher to handle too, because it's like, yeah, you've got the center, now you have to protect it for 24 hours, which is kind of wonky too. It shouldn't really be like that. I mean, that's tough to demand from an alliance, because it's like, all right, well, you guys sleep now.
Yeah.
We'll see if you can do anything. I mean, I guess you could just keep troops in the center, I mean, but then you just lose a march, so it stops you from doing like horde or whatever trap for a little while. Yeah. So
Eric B said maybe with the merge we'll get some new rewards. That would be nice. So that would be nice. What I realized also,
because I would imagine they would just be dropping us in a new map.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't just
but yeah.
You can't just just keep all of the we still have survivor bases.
Yeah.
540 days later, it's still like there's still random things. I actually saw a new alliance not too long ago. And I was like, what the hell is this? I just figured it was like, we've played this one group in SVS, multiple times. So they're probably just up to 25 by this time. They started to build their own trap and headquarters.
Let me ask you guys something else, because we're on this topic, and I know we're getting close to wrapping up here, because I think we've covered everything. But we went on. I went on kind of like my vacation in June. I think right around the time that SVS released their new strategy, right, about the inner circle, that if you hit somebody, they get ported and all of that. I don't think we ever got your guys' feedback on it. About what you thought about that. Does that solve some of the issues we have with regards to wanting to lose SVS versus wanting to win? Has that really changed your view on that, or does it still favor losing? I'll start with you, Delete. Just what are your thoughts on those changes? Just simply, I know this is kind of old, but I don't think we ever voiced those on the stream because we were gone during that time. So let's get those in now.
I think we've actually, for the most part, stopped caring for who wins or loses SVS altogether. I think we're crushing the other state right now by like 40 million or something like that. They apparently do care, but like none of our people just wanted to go ahead and miss out on YITH rewards, I guess, or to continue ranking up their base, and like trying to get full max and doing like plasma, using their plasma and using, the different things, because it just means more, like I think that we're going to probably steamroll the state that we're playing in SVS. But I thought it's a good change. I think it was a good change, but I haven't seen it really pay out. I mean, for the most part, it's kind of stayed exactly the same. Hasn't really changed the experience that much.
Okay. And Aerith is saying the feature was new to you in 500. If you were hit and lost in gray around capital, you were bumped out. Yes, it was not in a regional feature in older states, and I think it was released about 2 months ago now, where they introduced that. So,
well, it was an original feature for us, but they added that red area, which is 3 HQs deep, where you can't shield now.
Yes, that is what we are talking about. It's not just the porting out. It's the fact that you can't shield, which prevents you from... Oh, sorry. Thank you for clarifying. I was trying to make sure I got confused with the question. Yes. So you can't use your like little mini bases in order to hold it and then easily switch out. If you're doing that, they better be able to hold defense because they can't bubble anymore. So that's the feature they got rid of.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where it's like now, let's see, have I tried to hit? I hit a 4-star, and I crushed a 4-star in res raid, but I don't know if they probably weren't that strong, and they were just like, oh, let me just be I'll be a plasma based, and not be like gear and chief gear and hero gear, maxed out. So, but my limits of what I can take out, aren't really that much higher. Typically if you're a 5-star plasma base and I'm, an 8-star plasma, it's not like I'm blowing you out of the water because you've got 4 million troops against my 175,000, and I'm not winning that battle, so the like hitting bases typically now it's just like, people park there, people are just going to park around center. It's just, it's not really done with like alts anymore, which is nice, but it still happens, I mean, not that big a deal to kind of like just park a cap.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. And then one troop from somebody else, and even their 4 million becomes higher stats than you had expected for that. So
yeah, and it just get crushed.
Yeah.
It almost should be a limit on troops, as crazy as that sounds, because
No.
it's
Hush, that's my only defense. Hush you.
Well, so I
It's
played
like-
a game probably 5 or 6 years ago called Blaze of Battle, and your troops actually ate your food. So if you had too many troops over your production limit, they ate your food. So I literally would have 0 food in my settlement, and then I would send out 6 marches to go farm nothing but food when I wanted to upgrade something.
Wow, that's interesting.
I actually wouldn't mind that kind of system. Like if that's the system where you have to actually, I mean, you already have to pay food in order to like heal troops and create troops, but if you also had to pay like an upkeep cost in order to keep your troops, I actually would not mind that. I don't think that's too bad of a compromise to me wanting to have every single troop available in the world in my base because that's the only way I get defense, and Delete wanting all of those out except for the 100,000 that he can match up 1-on-1 with.
Yeah, because like base hitting is becoming extinct. The older the game gets, like there's no more base hitting.
Yeah.
Which is base hitting is definitely one thing that it's a weird subject because the problem is people do it to excess and it starts to ruin the game experience. When you're just out there just zeroing people, just arbitrarily, you end up killing the game.
Yeah.
Which is why so many states are having issues that they are, like in some scenarios it creates spending. In other scenarios, it completely deflates the people you have playing in your state, because no one wants to sign into their game and be like, wow, I'm just completely destroyed. I don't want to rebuild this.
Yeah.
I'm done.
We just had that in law 3 weeks ago where a guy logged in, he had 128 battle logs because somebody 5-star went 0 to 2-star and hit him 128 times. Like at that point, there's nothing left. What's the point of going over 40 hits? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was just like, oh, yeah, well, I need reserves. And it's like, all right, man, you're a billion BP player. Like there's no way you need reserves. But, so I do think a little bit of base hitting is fun. I mean, it's kind of the reason you build a base. It's not just for, let me just go ahead and just park in capital and doing bunkers and facilities. I mean, there's more to the game than that. It's also one of the most penal portions of the game. With the attacker, when you lose, oh man, you'll lose 45,000 troops in a heartbeat. You build I build 1,600 of a type at a clip, and it takes like 13 hours. So you lose 45,000. That's so much of your time that is just gone.
Yeah.
You know. So the fact that they don't want to promote it somewhat is crazy, because at this point, it's not worth the losses. I do it. I hit it. I base it at SVS purely because I know I'm only losing 10%, of my losses, which is, that's manageable. Like my average lately has become like about 400,000 troops. 500,000 troops roughly. Yeah, I'd say it's more like 400,000. So I'm losing 40,000 troops, but I'm literally hitting bases a lot to get there.
Mako, are
So-
you of the same hitting people's bases style as Delete? Delete seems pretty ruthless right now. I'm just saying.
Only at SVS. And even still, I only, I'll hit people once. I'll hit people twice. I'm not hitting anyone and be like, oh, I'm crushing you, so I'm just going to go ahead and just mash you to smithereens. So, it's not what I'm doing.
I can see it in
It's
Mako's
fun.
eyes. Mako's doing 12, 13 hits, right?
Oh yeah, my total free to play mentality has gotten me, I think, maybe 4 million troops in kills so far. I pride myself on I have never been zeroed. I think the closest I've got to losing troops, I lost like 40,000 troops one time, and that was because the strongest player in the game at the one time, who went and maxed everything out immediately, decided to hit all 5 of my gathering farmers on a kill event on a gathering day, and I was sleeping at the time, so I logged in and all 5 marches got hit, and I think I lost because I was at that time I was doing full marches too to try and deter somebody from hitting one, and then I get leveled by a 5-star when I'm freaking Plasma 1, and it was like 40,000 troops in losses and 300,000 troops in the hospital. It's just, that's probably the closest I've come to getting eviscerated.
Oh, tile hitting is the worst. It's the worst. That's one of the worst parts of the game.
I love for kill event. It's the best because you don't take losses unless something happens to you like Mako, where I do the same thing. Like during kill event, if I really need to farm, I'll equalize a march and send it or something. So I send like the full march to try and make it not as easy to attack. But yeah, it's if you get hit,
if you really wanted to just crush an alliance, you literally park outside their hive, and anytime someone decides to farm, you just destroy them.
Oh, but you can have fun with that.
Extremely easy.
So somebody was doing that to us in 359. I don't know if you were on at that time. This was a while ago. Somebody was doing that. Before we built up some of the towers, they came by and they were doing that. So I was literally sending a march to every single one, and then he would send an attack, and I would just recall it, and he just kept on gathering into different just over and over again. So I would just go like this, and then we started coordinating where like somebody else was sending a march after that guy to try and hit him while he was. It just became ridiculous. So it can be a lot of fun too. Delete. It's not that bad. It can be quite a bit of fun to try and to have somebody try to do it where you send out a march into a resource node, but then they send a march, so that you pull back at that exact time when it hits, and just it can be a lot.
I've thought about doing that to Rod personally. Because because of how expensive everything is resources wise, and the fact that like their top players can only basically are running out of reserves because they don't farm really, they would just have to pay for it. Because then it's like you're just not going to farm. You're not going to farm in your hive at all because we're just going to pluck you down. I was like, we'll just do it that way. And eventually that adds up. The millions and millions of reserves that you farm on a daily, your daily quest won't be able to be met, because you'll never get to 100,000, which is a big part of your daily. So that's gold frags. Like you could slowly but surely, but then you would have to give up on doing trap. You would just, you'd have to give that up for a little bit, but it would be worth it. It would be worth it to just systematically destroy someone in this game by not letting them farm.
Yeah.
Or they would just have to port. Go ahead and burn ports. We'll see. You know, port really far away
Mm-hmm.
because I'll find you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you will. Hi, Nathaniel
And then you
Morgan
lose
says the
protection.
mythical affinity. I am not mythical, sir. I'm not mythical. I'm just an idiot. There's a difference between the two. Mm-hmm.
Finn the Annoyer.
I'm Finn the Annoyer. Legit. Finn the Annoyer. Look at that. Finn the Annoyer. Legit. Just throwing that out there. All right. Well, I think we've actually covered a lot. We went through last week's and this week's developer feedback. We got story time with Mako and Delete. So you guys got a lot of extra stuff. So I think we'll go ahead and sign out. It's getting close to about 2 hours, which is good timing for us. And hope you guys are getting used to the Thursday time. We'll be back again next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Mako, any last words before we sign out?
No, I think we covered a bunch of stuff that got some good information out there.
All right. Juggernaut. So after he said the hero training stuff, and we said it's the same, Juggernaut said just ran test. It is the same. Going back to my corner. It's okay, Juggernaut. Trust me, it is okay. With the amount of times they have changed stats on us in this game, it would not have surprised me if you came back and said no. If you did it without the hero precinct, their stats are actually a little bit higher. Like, it wouldn't have surprised me because they changed stats and battle mechanics and everything in this game fairly quickly. So yeah, no worries, of course, Juggernaut. Eric B, you get free random ones, and alliance relocators are basically free. I actually, because I tend to use more alliance, I actually run out of alliance relocators before I run out of the advanced relocators. Because most of the time, I'll like just port either to or back to whoever the leader is, back to the hive or to the new location. So I actually run out of advanced more than I run out of the advanced. I run out of the alliance more than I run out of the advanced.
Same.
Yeah.
And I guess I have one thing. If you want to keep on with your market stall, you get advanced relocators for like 38,000 or 38.4 million food and 38.4 million wood. Every once in a while they'll pop up there. So I've got like 64 of those. I've only got 4 alliance relocators, but I'm an R4, so I can put some in the alliance store and buy them myself. So
Solid.
Delete. Any last words from you?
No. Sorry for my lateness. Real life first is something that we live by all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and sign out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us once again on another Thursday night of the Bunker Underground. I will try to go ahead into the Discord. I am honestly very, very exhausted. It has been a long day. But I will head into the Discord. If you join our Discord, you get to have exclamation Discord in the chat. The link will come after a little bit. Just give the bot a little bit of time, but it'll post the link for the Discord if you're not already there. If you head down, because we have a lot of different games that we play, so we have a few different sections and channels. Head down to the State of Survival area. You will see a voice chat there that I will go and hang out with. And I don't know if Mako and Delete will join, but they may be there as well. Delete already said no, he's going to sleep. Mako also basically said no, he's going to sleep. So I will be there. So I will try to be there for a little while. Yeah, no, it's all good. I am exhausted, but I'll go there for like a little while, probably about like 15-20 minutes or so before I just like pass out on you guys. But we'll go hang out there for a little bit. I'll hang out there for a little bit. And then we'll be back next week for another episode of the Bunker Underground. I hope you guys had fun. And then with that, I am Finn with Reality Skewed Gamers for Mako and Delete. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Take care, guys.
Rock on, Alan.